Welcome back to Toffee TV. The Euros are done. They're dusted. We're back to... don't know what we're back
Thinking about Everton.
Thinking about buying players. What was your overall impressions of the tournament?
Of the tournament?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I listened to people being paid a hell of a lot of money last night to talk wham.
I listened to the other one. It was well better.
About how the quality was, the quality was poor from Rio Ferdinand, talking about the quality being poor. And
while selling his caps.
Oh, the thing about it, he was going on about Portugal, the quality was so poor. Don't remember him stood on that on that thing, picking up trophies for England, do you?
Not for England.
Well, no, for United, that's great, but we're talking about players who've actually won something for their country. So the only thing I'd say about the Euros was, what I would do is I'd add another 8 teams and get rid of that pathetic third place thing.
People are talking about losing.
No.
We'll talk about that in a minute, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I thought it was good as well. The final was cack, and
extra time was good.
I just thought the final was rubbish. Do you know what? Remember, you go back 2 years to Brazil, right? Amazing, group stage, and then it's the start of getting a little bit crap because the problem is that people get tired, and also the one-off games, the pressure starts to hit. But when it's in the group stage, everyone's like, it's all champagne, isn't it? Champagne football and all that. But once the group stage is gone and you start getting to the serious stuff, it starts getting a little bit.
People have got things to lose.
Yeah, exactly, and and then you start finding the teams are quite defensive. And the thing about Portugal is, I know a lot of people saying they only won one game in 90 minutes. They didn't lose any games.
Didn't lose a single game.
So there you go. Do you know what I mean? They built their. It's quite funny actually, because everyone's focuses on Ronaldo, but he didn't have that much of a good tournament. Good leader, yes, but the defence was amazing. Pepe
for me was player of the tournament.
The goalie I thought was fantastic for them as well.
Rylan, yeah.
I thought they did really well. I thought football for me goes in waves, and at the moment we're having a defensive wave, because it's cause and effect. So it's like Barcelona are boss, we need to learn how to defend, so you get this defensive wave, and then you get the next wave will be different. And at the moment we're on a bit of a defensive wave, so it's Portugal won by being defensive. But I thought the tournament was good because there was no real massive hardens, apart from when France played Iceland, but it wasn't really first half, brilliant performance. Quite competitive. The best teams in it, and certainly the best atmospheres and fans, were from Iceland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Wales. They were all the best thing about it. Where it was all these sorts of traditional teams which were crap.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I just think people going on. They were trying to say last night, get it back to, the quality will be higher if you take it back down to 16. Why can't them teams perform anyway?
Do you remember the Euros in 1992?
When Denmark won it, yeah.
But do you actually remember much about that tournament?
I remember Brolin scoring and doing a spin.
Do you remember how many teams were in it? 8 teams. It was crap. You'd have the group, and then you had 2. Denmark won it by, I think they won about 3 games all tournament. I think you only had to win 5 games or 6 games. It was rubbish. This amount of teams means nothing to me. The format was, at the end of the day, Portugal were the third place team, but they did what they needed to do. Like you were saying before, I'd add another 8. And I'd have it was 8 groups and the top 2 qualified,
like the World Cup,
and you go into it like that. But I also would change the qualifying, because there was people were saying, well, there's only 55 teams in Europe. We're getting this Euro League in 2 years, aren't we?
Yeah.
So base it fully on that Euro League. Mess about with that. Swerve qualifiers, they're crap. They don't mean anything and they don't prove anything.
I think you could. Because when you look at those European Championship groups, sometimes the qualifying's got 8 teams, another group's got 5, and you're just balance it up. After 32 teams, like the World Cup, don't just because Albania were in it, people going, I want to watch Albania. Yeah. Albania were alright.
And how are Albania ever going to get any better?
It's
our Wales ever going to? You think about it now as it goes on. Wales will have a better chance of getting to the World Cup now because well, it won't matter this time because they've already done, but that'll all be better, won't it? They're all that.
Yeah, but it's about knowing how to play championship football, finals football. Qualifying what's the point? You go to qualifiers and you never get through because it's so difficult for you to get through. You know, you're talking about Holland winning this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they didn't get through because they were in a group with
Iceland.
tough team. You know, and Iceland got so. It's all about the progression of those teams, and you know, Albania will go home having learnt loads. Hungary will go home having learnt loads. Northern Ireland, Wales got to the semi-final, so no one can turn around and go, no, we only want the elite teams. Wales were finished, you know, joint third in the whole tournament. So Iceland got to the quarters. You know, why is it worse for the game if then teams are in it? When just keep England in, who are garbage because it suits the narrative of Rio Ferdinand. But at the expense of Hungary or Iceland, no thanks. Give it 32 teams.
The difference between the European Championships and the World Cup is, in the World Cup you get like a lot more random teams because it's easier to qualify. So you do get more games where there's more goals. European football is a lot more balanced now, and some people don't like that because there's no goals in it. But if you watch football and you've watched it for a while, you get to love other aspects of the game rather than just goals.
I loved watching Italy, and they were full. It was their defence.
It was amazing.
I loved the fact they played with two centre forwards, but the defence was brilliant. You know how they didn't. I'm fuming they didn't beat Germany because I had them in Italy in the sweep. But you know, they were built on defence. You can appreciate the defence.
And Portugal were built on defence, and actually, Ronaldo going off in the final actually ruined it because it left them just with nowhere to go. But France couldn't break them down, and France would still be playing now and wouldn't be bringing them, you know, especially bring people like Gignac on, who probably wouldn't get in most under elite teams in Liverpool.
Horrible player he is.
But I mean, you know, let's just talk about the Everton players because that's what we were going to do anyway. I mean, who would you say was the standout Everton player in the tournament? I know there's not many to really talk about.
For me, it'd be a toss-up between Seamus Coleman and Romelu Lukaku, but I think Seamus. Yeah, I think Seamus for the simple reason that they had that win against Italy, who I thought were fantastic in the tournament. But I just think he was captain, and I think he played absolutely brilliant at times. He defended really well.
He was brilliant,
and he was, you know, he just looked a little bit like he got that bit back between his teeth, which I think is, for whatever reason, I can't think of a reason why the last 3 seasons he's got worse and worse and worse. But that weight seemed to be off his shoulders of not having to. Yeah, I just think he was really good. I think Lukaku, he missed a big chance in a Wales game and all, but I still think he demonstrated that goal against the Republic of Ireland from the edge of the box. I thought was fantastic. His hold-up play is still garbage, but I still think he's a threat.
I thought he was terrible overall.
No, but I think when you look at the play, James McCarthy was rubbish. I think he had one game against Italy, he was okay, but that was mainly because Italy with the dominant team and he was breaking it up. McGeady, isn't he?
Doesn't count.
No, Tarashai did 47 seconds.
But Seamus, I thought what was great about Seamus was, you know,
Witzel was
it? What you're seeing with Seamus actually though, there's the leadership side of his game started coming out, and I think that's really important for us next season. We've all been crying out for, like, you know, more captains on the pitch, and I think that he grew up, because I think he's been growing up anyway, and he's like 27, 28 now anyway, so he's not like a kid, but that extra responsibility, he took it, and I think that's really interesting.
The thing you say, David, who did he have on that touchline? Roy Keane, saying fucking kick people, get in people's faces, put that. He's had someone going to him, shake hands, if you tie the fella's boot if he's on the floor, pat him on the head. No, but you're phenomenal. No, because he's a Gaelic footballer. He's Irish. He's a dog. Yeah. I want to see him as a dog.
No, you're right. But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he responded to being a leader, and that's what I really thought was really, really good. And I'd like to see more of that out of him this season. For us, I think that's a really big part. I want to see him become a leader on the pitch, and vice captain. No worries. If Bainesy doesn't really seem to be able to take any interest in it. So make Seamus the vice captain and say, you know what, you've been with us for what, 7 years now, whatever it is, you've been with us. You'll be probably, you know, good chance you'll be with us for the rest of your career, because that's just the way he is. Seems to be. If things go well, you know, you can be the captain when if Phil Jagielka's not playing, whatever. I think that was a really big thing that came out of it. So I thought some games we played really well. Defensively looked better. because he was doing his job. He knew what his job was, and he did his job. So I thought that was good. Rom, I thought was shite. Honestly, I thought he was shite because, and I tell you why, right? It was supposed to be the big stage for him, right? Apart from a couple of goals against Ireland, I think you would have scored a couple of goals against Ireland the way they played that game. No, they were so bad that game. No,
I'd have scored a couple of goals against Italy, Sweden.
They were so bad that game. No, I'm saying I think you
now. Oh well, now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought they were so bad.
Yeah.
They just had no.
Oh, but his goal was. That one
I know his goal was good, but
beautiful.
what I'm saying is his general play was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
From what we've seen, what we expect from him, it was the big platform for him, and he blew it. He was nowhere to be seen in the latter stages at all, and James McCarthy.
He blew his lines against Wales. That header, that 1-1.
James McCarthy. He was pretty poor, and he's got no like at Everton. There's no defined role for him, and I think that's a big problem. Which
Well, it looks like, I mean,
that needs to be addressed.
Well, it looks like it's getting addressed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you believe,
might be getting addressed by him not having a role.
That's what I mean. If you look at the players who were linked with, Carvalho, Witzel, Schneiderlin, they're all centre midfield players.
Yeah.
So
there's that as well.
He's in trouble.
So there's that as well. So
so we'll go on then. Rank who was best to worst then. Go.
There's only 3 players really, isn't it?
Well, McGibbon was involved.
Oh.
Yeah, the best player.
Seamus Rom and James McCarthy. But I mean, where do you stand with the whole England situation then? I mean, the fact that our 2 players didn't get any game time whatsoever.
Right. John Stones, how he doesn't play, how Gary Cahill and Smalling get in before him is a joke anyway. Gary Cahill's crap. I wouldn't have him at Everton. Not a chance. Not a chance. He's garbage, the kid. But that's by the by. He likes, Roy liked Cahill and Smalling, so I made up he's been bombed out because he's the worst manager we've ever had, I think. After Graham Taylor, maybe. Ross Barkley it was a ridiculous decision not to give him any time at all. Absolutely ridiculous, because Dele Alli were told by everyone he's singing, dancing, he's everything. People on Twitter, Evertonians. He's in a different level.
I like Dele Alli.
Listen,
no.
I'm saying you don't like him, but I'm saying to you, he's not in a different level than Ross Barkley in any way, shape or form.
What I would say about Dele Alli, and I'm just saying that, and it was just like that. This plays into the bigger picture of the whole thing, is that Dele Alli's had a really great second half of the season, playing in a certain position, and he wasn't played there once.
No, but he's the one who you would have swapped Ross for. I'm not saying it wasn't the correct decision to start Dele Alli, because it was on form. Shows you that he had a good season with Tottenham. However, mate, when you're looking for that little bit of magic, you don't bring on Jack Wilshere. He's one of the worst players I've ever seen.
When he brought on, Jack Wilshere's everything that's wrong with England,
with the world,
with the culture,
with the world.
Well, I mean,
obviously not the world.
No, not the world.
I just don't. 2 things with Jack Wilshere. A, I think he's massively overrated. I really do. I don't see what people think seeing him. But B, there's not a chance he should have been anywhere near. Exactly. He played 1 game. Danny Drinkwater was fantastic the whole season in a team that won the title. And Jack Wilshere.
That's what I'm saying. That's
embarrassing.
That's Jack Wilshere. I go on about Jack Wilshere all the time. He is the embodiment of what literally is wrong with football as a whole.
Yeah.
I've said this for a long time. Too much, too young. Do you remember how he basically rose to prominence was? He was just an also-ran at Arsenal. His squad number was 54. And he played in that Emirates Cup, and he had a couple of really good games. Next minute, they give him the number 19 shirt or something like that, and then basically was you're in around the first team. Had a decent season, and give him the number 10 shirt. It was just well,
he went out to Bolton, didn't he, on loan? To Bolton on loan, and he wasn't. But it wasn't that great there.
It's too much, too young, without actually doing anything. But also the other side of it is he's always injured, and yet we always see these pictures of him. And whatever he does, whatever he wants, that's up to him. But he has a certain lifestyle. I don't know if he still has it, but he used to. And surely that played a part in the fact that he could never recover from injuries. You know, and you look at all that and you just think, you don't deserve this. Well, you don't deserve it. And I think that's half the problem. He got 3 minutes all season or something like that.
He played 90 minutes. Right. It was the end of the season. So, the last game, the very last game of the season.
So he didn't deserve to be in that squad.
Leeds about 6 managers in that time between him playing 90 minutes.
Someone like Drinkwater did deserve to it, but who cares? Ross Barkley, right? No matter what you want to say about him, like 2015, fantastic, and it just started tailing off this year. But his stats were still head and shoulders better than anyone else. Now, I didn't think he'd go to the Euros, but when they played Iceland, they're getting beat and they were crying out for some creativity, and he brought Jack Wilshere on, and I just thought, and that, I wasn't particularly asked if England won or not, but at that point, I was fully doing this, and I do that anyway, but that's a different story. But at that point, I was just going, you people just don't have a clue. You came in and you were all going to be this and that, and we weren't going to answer to the media, and all you did was answer to the media. And yet, funnily enough, most of the media did want Ross Barkley to play.
But he's a player that, I know he infuriates you at times, but he's a player that can literally just go like that and change a game. So when you're chasing a game that you're not in any way, shape or form and control of, you put someone on who's going to mix it up. You'll put Jack Wilshere, who's just going to get it and pass it and get it and pass it, because we didn't need that. But it was the same thing with just looking at that whole England game anyway, and he had Daniel Sturridge, who's the best finisher in the squad, and yeah, they left him out wide on the wing. So ridiculous for me.
Yeah, it's a bigger picture, isn't it? I mean, England were just there was all these, like I always, it's like England, they get 11 players, they got the best 11, and they don't fit them into it. They try and fit them into one team instead of saying, well, actually, no, this is the best team, and if you've got to sit on the bench, and that's the whole thing with the England thing.
There's no system, though. Can you honestly say how England play?
No.
I just look like,
but you know, you look at Ross and you just think, no matter what, you just think Ross has got the kind of temperament to just say, you know, he can open someone up. You know, and whatever you think about him, whenever you think, oh, he loses the ball here, or he hasn't got, you know, he's still a very good footballer. And you watch someone like Pogba in the tournament, and the similarities between him and Barkley are staggering. And they're talking about him as 100 million.
I watched him last night in that final. He touched the ball about
that's what I mean. It's like, there's a man in 1 minute in the semi-final, £100 million player, and then the next minute he's terrible. And that's how we sort of view Ross. And to be honest, I know people will laugh at me, but the difference between Pogba and Ross are, Pogba's finishing, like his long distance shooting, is brilliant.
Yeah.
It gets him out of a lot of holes where Ross doesn't necessarily have that in his locker. So, but they're not that far.
He doesn't shoot them that far.
No, they're not that far. They're not that different. You know, one's £100 million player, and one, you know, couldn't even get off the bench for England, and that's England, by the way. So, there's a lot more. I think John Stones' reputation, wherever he finds himself, he'll become an England regular now, because whoever comes in, we'll just have him in there.
I think Ross will get in. I think Human will sort Ross out. They've come away unscathed, haven't they? They were involved, so fair enough.
They'll be ready to go. If Ross can survive Wayne Lineker, then we'll be all right. I mean, he's probably had
let's move on.
He's had more excursions over there anyway. So anyway, tell us what you think about the Euros, about our players involved. Who was the best, who was the worst? Do you care about even any of it? The Euros itself, you know, how would you improve it? How do you think we can improve it? Would you go back down to 16? It can't happen for the next one, the round European tour of the Euros in 4 years' time. Or would you increase it like we've said and just go to 32 and go, whatever, lad,
top 2,
whatever, lads, just do what you want. Tell us what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Gang signs.
Right.